No, this isn't mansplains mansplaining. Lol, that's the joke. That's not the joke. I think there is value in terms like mansplaining or bro-appropriating or heap-eating, man-interrupting, man-spreading, correctile dysfunction, or testiculating. Imagine a female boss is accused of labiyammering.
No, I don't think I will.
If you look in the comments of like an educational YouTube video, you will find accusations of mansplaining, which by definition, it cannot possibly be mansplaining. This overuse and incorrect use of the word and others like it is actually detrimental to the cause of stopping mansplaining. So I'm on your side of stopping it. So before you cancel me, all right, here's the point of the video. Men are annoying to you. You want a word with the power to stop them. And you have a word for that, but you're ruining it. Joyce et al. Say that these terms make the unspeakable speakable, meaning they're words. The men one's not labiyammering, I made that one up. By putting a name to it, you can now say someone is mansplaining, and people generally know what you're talking about, along with all the baggage and context. When before, like, what are you gonna do? Spew a paragraph explanation of how men blah 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 every time Steve is patronizing to a woman in a meeting? I have two main points. A strong pair, which I will gesticulate now. By overusing these words and using them incorrectly, the term has been watered down till it just now means a man is talking, as seen in the YouTube comments. Thus, the casual lobbing of this new insult basically is calling for men to just permanently shut up forever, which you might want, but it ain't gonna convince a lot of men to do it. And these gendered terms put people on the defensive. So rather than leading to any productive changes, mostly they just inflame the already stupid gender wars we have. In 2014, Salon declared the term dead in a piece, saying that mansplaining has morphed from a useful descriptor of a real problem in contemporary gender dynamics to an increasingly vague catch-all expression that seems to be inflaming the internet gender wars more than clarifying them. As an English professor, part of my job is to lead class discussions on everything from is a hot dog a sandwich to abortion evil and pretty cool. And class discussions are a lot like starting a fire. Sometimes it could be a pain in the ass to get started and keep going, but other times you look away for 2 seconds and the grass is on fire. I try to stoke the fire of discussion in a way that's useful, respectful, productive, enlightening without getting derailed into shouting and personal insults and racial slurs. And one of the words that's long on fire and ruins discussions. I define mansplaining, and my definition is the only one that matters, obviously, as a man talking to a woman condescendingly. 2, explanative. 3, ignoring or not noticing that she is at least one of the following. A, not interested. B, already knows this. C, knows more than he does. Or D, wants him to shut the fuck up already. What are you clicking? Don't click on that. Underlying it is the assumption made by the man that he is more of an expert than she is, and is dismissive of her knowledge and expertise. The seminal example comes from a female author having a man explain to her the book that she wrote. So ultimately, it boils down to a demi-gloss of failure to read social cues. She's communicating, I know more than you do, stop being condescending, and he just keeps talking, showing off all of his big boy brains. So Tom Scott, on a YouTube video, cannot possibly be mansplaining because he's not talking to a woman. There are no social cues for him to be ignoring or not noticing, and you can't click away from a man at a party. Wouldn't it be great if you could fast forward a man when he's mansplaining, you know? Hey. What are you doing? Don't click on that. Don't put me on 2x speed. You do that, I'll just talk slow. But that definition is not really how it's used, like a lot of the time. I have a question. Is it mansplaining when my 8-year-old nephew tries to talk my ear off about some video game that I just don't give a shit about? Like, read the room, kid. I do not care about your Minecraft, whatever. I don't care. Joni Ernst, who ran for Senate on the basis that she has experience castrating pigs.
I'm Joni Ernst. I grew up castrating hogs on an Iowa farm, so when I get to Washington, I'll know how to cut pork.
Accused a Democrat of mansplaining when they are debating a bill. Bipartisan negotiations over her bill in the Senate broke down this month because it neglected to close the boyfriend loophole, an opening in the law that allows an unmarried partner to still legally buy and own firearms after a misdemeanor conviction for domestic violence. When Schumer accused Ernst of being afraid of the NRA, which opposes closing the loophole, she had mansplaining at the ready. She was trying to allow abusive boyfriends to keep their gun rights instead of like a real response. She just says like, he's mansplaining. which, I mean, it's Joni Ernst. She was confronted the other day about these Medicaid cuts, and she was just like, with a smirk, like, well, we're all going to die one day, and we just need Jesus.
People are not, well, we all are going to die. So, for heaven's sakes. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize. I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. Sincerely apologize. I grew up castrating hogs on an Iowa farm. I'll know how to cut pork. I'm Joni Ernst, and I approve this message.
Let's make them squeal.
So I guess she's a pro-abusive boyfriends having guns because they're not married, so the battered girlfriends deserve it, right? They're asking for it because they weren't listening to Jesus when Jesus said, marry that abusive man. The BBC helpfully created this chart, which is wrong, by the way. Now, I don't mean to explain to this woman condescendingly that she's really bad at making charts, that she falloped a little bit. But there's the thing missing here. Just because a woman asked you a question or said she wanted something explained, sure, that's consent for you to start talking. But if after 9 seconds she realizes you're an idiot and she knows more than you do, and she wrongly believed you when you put on a big show about your big boy brains, she can withdraw consent, which goes right back to it's just missing social cues. Just because he asked doesn't mean you get 15 minutes later, she still wants you to keep talking, right? Chart debunked, boom, roasted. Would this woman prefer if you shut the fuck up? Yes or no? QED. Blame. So let's play a game. Is this mansplaining? At a party, a woman casually drops the knowledge that the more sex you have, the bigger your labia gets. The man corrects her, and she then accuses him of the grave error of mansplaining. So even if he is condescending, which we don't know if he was in this example, she's wrong. So she doesn't know more than him or have more expertise than he does, so he can't be mansplaining. Is that right? In the comments. Is being right a get out of mansplain jail free card? But if every time a man and woman argued about who's right about something it was mansplaining, then the word mansplain has now been tainted to mean just men and women arguing. When you're in an argument, you know the other person wants you to shut up, and then they win. It's sexist to say that anytime a man argues with you, he's mansplaining. If you don't agree, then anytime a woman argues with me, I get to accuse her of vag spreading. That seems sexist, right? Right or wrong? We're just one step closer to idiocracy anyway, right? Closer, deeper, or deeper into idiocracy. And this issue extends to other terms like weaponized incompetence and gaslighting. By overusing them, you're neutering those words. You're taking away their balls to mean what they really mean, and thus lose their value of making the unspeakable speakable. Gaslighting means when person A systematically and intentionally lies to person B. Okay, so when a boyfriend lies to his girlfriend to such an extent as to attempt to convince her that she's crazy, right? That they cannot trust their own senses or memories, or they're hallucinating. Like, these things did not actually happen. Now, if your boyfriend cheats on you and then he lies about it, that's not gaslighting. If you walk in on him having sex with a neighbor's dog, and then he attempts to convince you that you must have been hallucinating because, like, obviously he's not into that bitch, that could be gaslighting. But now the term gaslighting has been overused and dulled, watered down, tainted, you might say, to the point that if a friend says her shitty boyfriend was gaslighting her, do you assume that he was systematically causing her to question her sanity? Or do you think he just, like, lied about where he was after work a few times? So now if someone is actually gaslighting, like that bad, that's serious, psychological manipulation, what do you say? Like, he was literally gaslighting? Because y'all overused and ruined literally already. So we need a new term. Like, he was seriously actually gaslighting, not just like kind of gaslighting. There's this dichotomy, prescriptivism, descriptivism. Do you think we should prescribe how language should be used, that there are correct and incorrect usages? Or should we be descriptivists who just describe how language is used? There's no right or wrong, it's just chaos, and the dictionary is just to document how all the dum-dums are using those word things. Not to say what's correct. See Exhibit A again. See, I'm kind of a P-word. Then again, I'm an English professor with a red pen, so of course I would be. But if you want to be a descriptivist, we just loosey-goosey describe how the language is used and nothing is right or wrong, well, when your nephew starts writing essays for college and mid-cap starts Ohio Skibbity about the dynamics of Riz and the Great Gatsby, do you really want to say that's perfectly acceptable language and you have no place to decide that it's incorrect? It's different now, huh? This stand is shook. Don't be sus chuggy. Period. I'm getting over a breakup. She ghosted me. I communicated very clearly and openly, and she still ghosted me. I thought it was very clear when I tied 7 cinder blocks to her before I dumped her screaming into the river that I don't want to see her anymore. You know, I don't really want to talk to her anymore. But I get home, guess who's there? Stacking dishes and moving my furniture around. Ghost bitch. Get back in your river. Kids these days and their slang. Ghosts famously continue to bug you even when they're dead and they shouldn't be there. Yet there they are and they're bugging you. By definition, a ghost is, if anything, too communicative. And you took that to mean someone who's not communicative enough. You didn't get ghosted, you got magicianed. We already have a term for someone you want to talk to, but who won't respond and won't text you and they just vanish. That's called dad. I went on a date with this girl. It went great. She sucked my dick, and then she dadded me after, you know? All right, stay lovey. If literally changing to mean not literally is my least favorite, my favorite word changing meaning over time is geheim, third person singular present, geheit. This remarkable semantic development of the verb can be followed from Old High Germanic through Middle High German to modern German dialects. It goes to marry, to copulate, fuck, to rape, to plague, to hit, to throw. It ain't fuck, marry, kill. It's marry, fuck, kill, dispose of the body. Like all in one word. Like aloha means hello and goodbye. Geheim is a whole goddamn true crime podcast in one word. It's great. I'm going to start a true crime podcast called Geheim. Put it right in the comments. Would you subscribe? Am I the prime suspect?
Well, I'm afraid I enjoy a good murder now and then.
Weaponized incompetence is another one. It means when a sitcom husband stereotype does a chore intentionally poorly so that their exhausted but very hot wife will just do it instead because he can't be trusted not to start the house on fire on accident if he has to switch the laundry to the dryer. But it's overused because sometimes dudes just be bad at stuff, right? It assumes that people, okay, men, actually have competence at these things, and then make errors on purpose, which, come on, men are bad at a lot of stuff. Exhibit B, men are bad at sex. Look at the study. Orgasm gap, yoink sound effect. And so if you label every time a man is kind of a lazy idiot as a weaponized incompetence strategy, well, now you no longer have the unspeakable word to use, because when a man actually, literally, no cap, chuggy, weaponizes his incompetence, you have no term to describe it. Because if you say he's weapon, people will just lump it in with the general run-of-the-mill lazy stupid shit they do every day, and not the psychologically manipulative shit you're actually trying to describe. Bet. Sometimes we're just bad at stuff. But here's a counterpoint for you. I do 95% of the cooking. She does some of the grocery shopping just because she wants to go to Target, you know. But one time my wife was stopping at the store. She asked if I needed anything, and I asked her to get me some chicken wings. Okay. And she brought home drumsticks. Drumsticks? That's so wrong. Bitch, you ever eaten buffalo wings before? You know that drumsticks aren't buffalo wings, right? If the genders were reversed, just ask the comments. If the genders were reversed, you might suggest weaponized incompetence. Just ask the comments of any Reddit post about any wife in her mid-sized sedan. But I know she didn't do it on purpose. She's just not as intimately familiar with chicken anatomy as I am. How many wings? That's too many. When you're given a task you don't normally do, you lack knowledge, you make mistakes, and even if you're genuinely trying. So imagine you get home after trying and the response is some bitch barking her head off at you. And then it's not that just that you're wrong, but you did it wrong on purpose. It's funny, you think like my wife just said I was weaponizing my incompetence, and she didn't. I'm not mad. This is all about words. Eddie Izzard talks about how we ruined the word awesome to fill you with awe and wonder, and now it's like, what, like a hot dog? As another example, I used to work at the University Writing Center, and our boss was kind of a hippie guy, and he did this whole presentation training spiel thing. And it was about how we should love every day we come to work. We should love every time we interact with a student. We should love every challenge. We should love every bit of the job, and love. And I was like, what the fuck does the word love mean to you? You're not making me love my job more. You're just ruining my marriage. Like, when you say you love your wife, do you mean you love her the way you love an 8 a.m. meeting? See, like, I care what words mean, because we work at the writing center. So if you're going to use love to mean, like, grit your teeth and pretend to be enjoying it, like, what word am I supposed to use when I talk about my idiot dog I'd commit crimes to keep safe, you know? Please don't subscribe. You're not my target audience. My target audience is men aged 22 to 22 and a half. These gendered terms take off in usage inside of certain echo chambers, like Tumblr, Zanga, JDay, Blue Sky, where they're useful at first, right? We create awareness, we get to make jokes, and then we leave the echo chamber, and they're not useful anymore, right? The serial mansplainer, if you accuse him of mansplaining today, is he going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to fix this problem? No, he's going to call you an uppity feminist and dismiss this as some crazy woman labia yammering. Why she gotta be so poontangry or hoo-ha hostile? Does that feel gross and weirdly gendered? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Well, that's how some people feel about man interrupting or bro-appropriating or he-peating. Hey, what's the best sex toy? That's right, the human imagination. Best sex toy. You ever put your penis in one of those? Oh, talk about mental load. Whenever I see things about the mental load, about how dads don't know their kids' birthdays or who their kid's doctor is, or how women have it so much harder because idiot husbands, my base reaction is defensive. Like, I would know my kids' birthdays, and I know my kids' doctor's names. I don't have kids. And, like, I think most men are idiots too and are lazy and make women do way more work than they should. But I still have, like, it's like a defensive thing. It like immediately kicks in. And I'm like, that's wrong. And I'm trying to be aware of my biases. Look how high-minded I am. I always come out on top like that. These things like the mental load, which start off spreading awareness, here's this imbalance, quickly just become ways for one gender to dunk on the other.
Do you ever just look at your husband and think,
what would you do with a brain if you had one?
do you ever just look at your husband and think,
And it seems like women now have all these terms, and they love making new ones that are like academic sounding and rigorous. And I try to show you the reverse situation, but it doesn't seem like men do that, at least not in the same way. There's Mansplain, how like any man doing parenting will constantly be corrected by moms, even if he's not doing anything wrong. So we get cops called on them if they watch their kids at the playground while twisting their mustache and using binoculars. I just want to see, like, I'm examining their, like, kicking form. Right in the comments, but I really can't think of any equivalents on the other side. Like, we have old classics, you know? We say she's nagging, she's a bitch, bitches be crazy. But, like, hot, new academic-sounding terms? All I can think of in the male sphere of, like, things about whatever, hawk tua. And we definitely overuse the shit out of that. Now it doesn't mean spit on that thing, it's a crypto coin scam instead of a tribological method. So when you're using mansplaining, you might think it's useful shorthand, but the very people you want to reach to get them to shut the fuck up instead are going to be defensively triggered. It'll only work on beta cuck bitches like me who are already on your side. Imagine being a woman and you're in a meeting and you're explaining some stuff and a man interrupts to say that you're the JJ jabbering, and then when you give a like short response, he says you're being terse, and that you only got to your position because of your DEI vulvantages, and that the way you dismiss his concerns gives him the cervic, and you're just droning on in a dull tone like you're Ben Stein and Ferris Bueller, i.e. you are bulbavestibularing. Does that feel like it's going to lead to a productive conversation? But accusing someone of mansplaining, kind of the same thing. Alright, it's sillier and more crude. But sillier and more crude is my middle name. I've got more of these, by the way. Feminstrate, fallope, you know, when you brush up against someone, you go, oh, fallope. I got a pull-out method, it's risky. A man who can't please a woman, but is really nice about it, is a gynecologist. Cervix-a-lot. I'm not sure what he raps about, but Vulvanderbeek, in parentheses, Dawson's Creek. I don't know what that means. In the comments, what does Vulvanderbeek mean? Clitoral chutzpah, or clitoral hoodoo. Again, in the comments. My favorite one. So you know spaghettification? Because you fall into a black hole, you get stretched. I've got G-spaghettification. I don't know what it means. You get stretched somehow. This one's a little simpler. Gashful. The JJ jabbering. I like that one I came up with. I think women are just as capable of mansplaining sins as men are, which, should we invent our own term like she's being a fallopian tutor? Or should we just have a non-gendered term? So here are some of my ideas, non-gendered. Elaborate. men have areolas too?
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Urethrambuling, because we almost all have urethras. So next time you're condescended to, man or woman, they're urethrambuling. Write it down. Document it for history. I invented banga, and I invented urethrambuling. Hey, and who can mansplain? Trans men or trans women? Oh yeah, that'll bake your noodle later. So where did mansplaining come from? I'm glad you asked, and consent to me talking about it a lot. It's usually credited to Rebecca Solnit. For example, here, the term mansplaining entered the English vocabulary over 10 years ago, originating from a short autobiographical essay by feminist writer Rebecca Solnit entitled Men Explain Things to Me. See, that quote makes it sound like she invented the term, but she didn't actually coin that term. It was like comments later after the fact, like either on her essay or it was like related to her essay. And there's like 3 different stories like where the first one was. Electric Witch responded, "Wow, thank you so much for mansplaining this art to me. What with my art degrees, I can't understand it at all." Count Vronsky, also an innovator of sorts, responding with the original version of the now all too familiar meta-mansplain, in which the speaker explains how they're not actually in fact mansplaining. Quote, "Why is it mansplaining and not me just having a difference of opinion and expressing it to you? I mean, does everything, even an innocuous comment, an expression of appreciation for a piece of art, have to be seen through the lens of your feminist principles?" So the first time it was used, the dude was sick of being called mansplaining. Like the moment the word was invented, dudes were sick of it, which kind of shows you it's not actually useful for stopping mansplaining. So I went to find the origin of the Wikipedia article for mansplain. It was created on the 21st of August 2013 by a user of unknown gender called Sue Gardner. Could be a boy named Sue. A few paragraphs, some sources. All right. Next day, Nature Guy, again, I don't know, male, female, not sure. Nature Guy added a section called Criticisms of the Word, saying the word has been described by feminists as being inherently sexist, exclusionary, essentialist, and dismissive. And at first he put it at the very end of the article, and then he moved it up immediately to like, kind of like he was interrupting her to say it sooner. It's like watching man-terrupting happen in like stone tablet form. Catherine Connor Martin, Oxford University Press's head of U.S. dictionaries, said that the OED has a rough rule of thumb that words should be around at least a decade before they're added to the dictionary. But when a word is deemed important enough, it can be added more quickly. Google as a verb, right? You're going to Google it.
Liz Lemon, you mind if I Google myself in your office?
Sure, Tracy.
Can I use your computer?
How else are you going to do it?
Podcast, crowdsource, Brexit all made it into OED in a relatively short time. Among other such words in the zeitgeist, Martin says the dictionary is considering latinx and paternity. Paternity, which is paid time off granted to employees because they got like a new pet. Apparently that was such a hot thing, we don't need to wait to see is that a word that actually sticks. How many stories are there of like young men and women, maybe teenagers, maybe in the dorm, where the woman was sending signals, hints, lay on the clues pretty thick, and the man is just like oblivious. I sleep naked, I'll just eat something to keep me warm. And he gives her a blanket and then like goes and sleeps in the other room. And then years later is like, wait, she likes me? See, women are more into reading social cues and subtle and nuanced about it. And men are dumb brutes who grunt the names of athletes at each other. I call that friendship, right? How about this trope? They're like, hey, honey, Steve's engaged. How did he propose? I don't know. What's the ring look like? I don't know. When's the wedding? I don't know. What did you guys even talk about? I don't know. We played golf the whole time. So is it any surprise that women are like, wow, this man is oblivious to all these social cues that I'm doling out, that he should shut up. He must sense them, but also be so sure of his expertise that he's ignoring them. Of course, men miss social cues all the time. Even when it's the answer men want to hear, like sex maybe. See, we're not weaponizing our incompetence. We're just bad at stuff. And women are sick of men assuming they're not as smart, not as capable, not as capable. Like, stop interrupting, stop telling me what I already know. Treat me like you would another man, who you would assume knows what he's doing. But men, we're sick of women assuming we're super capable, that we do know how to do anything, that when a man fails at a task, it can't be because he's bad at it. He must have failed on purpose. If a man is caught cheating, he isn't just desperately making up some lies. He's carefully planned out a systemic gaslighting strategy. Women, stop assuming we're great at everything. We're idiots mostly. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. Anyway, I just coined another term, weaponized competence. That's when women ascribe malice and planning and forethought to men's actions when it was actually just us being really stupid. One thing I've noticed, sometimes women who are being mansplained to, or like say they're getting hit on at a bar by a man and they're clearly not interested, will then do this like sarcastic interest, like an over-the-top like, oh, please tell me more, sir, and like flutter the eyelids, you know? Which, he's missing social cues. And so now you're giving him a sarcastic social cue? That's not gonna work. He's not gonna understand the nuance of that. Like, oh my god. I mean, that's like telling someone who's tone deaf that they really fucking crushed it singing the national anthem. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, I thought I did crush it. And to be clear, I think men suck too. Like, I agree. But I still kind of feel attacked. Even I, as a liberal, as a feminist, and I kind of understand how the left starts to feel like this man bashathon when CGP Grey is getting called out for mansplaining when he's doing voiceover for a video. Like, y'all are using it too much, alright? Chill it. Chillax on the interruptski. It's part of this feeling that the left is doing everything to like prop up women and push down men. Not that we want equality, but we want female supremacy. And this pushes a lot of young, impressionable men away into the clutches of like alt-right assholes who tell them, no, you're great and awesome, and bitches be crazy gold diggers who want to trap you with a baby and like sexual harassment lawsuits. But you're great, man. Let's be JO buddies. Who do you want to associate with? The group that makes you feel defensive and attacked, or the one that tells you you're like awesome? And that's how you get young men voting for a fascist theocracy that's trying to take away their porn and their weed and their sex toys and birth control and violent video games. All the things they love. That's how bad Democrats are at messaging. They're taking away their porn and the boys are like, yeah, we like these people. Guys, this isn't that hard. Stop shooting yourselves in the foot. My god. We have these stupid fucking argument about you can't be sexist against a man because sexism is power and prejudice. Okay, you can't be racist against white people because racism is power and prejudice. If you're in the high group, the control group, then you can't be racist against them. And it's like, oh my god, this is just an argument about definitions. And if you go look up the definition, there's like definition 1, it's just prejudice. Definition 2 is like the systemic power dynamic, all that stuff. White men be like, but that's prejudice. Definition 1, and they're like, no, it can't be because definition 2. And I point you back to Exhibit A, where we say literally to mean not literally. All right, you guys are just arguing about definitions for no good reason, and the end result is you tell white men that it's not sexist or racist to hate them for their skin color and their gender. When I grew up, hating someone for their skin color was racism. Basically, what you should do instead, simplify this, is just tell all young white men they should never vote for Democrats, because we're all a bunch of man-hating, stupid pedants who love to pat ourselves on the back about how right we are while fascists take over. As we're being marched into the concentration camps, just remember, you still win if you point out that they're technically not camps if they're permanent structures. If you want to change men's minds so they don't mansplain to you, right? Don't use words like appropriate. It's not going to work. Just like if I told you to stop labia yammering, that's not going to work either. Use real words that we already have that don't spark defensive gender war reactions. Real words like condescending, bro, buddy. Chillax on the interruptskis, you know? And next time he says, well, actually, say, please hold all drink orders till the end. And I honestly don't know which side of the aisle is going to be madder at me in the comments.
Wait, have you been talking to me this whole time?
But you know, Sony, every PlayStation 3 has a Blu-ray.
You talking to me this whole time?
I was talking to whoever was listening.
Anyway, I watched the movie Gaslight, which is where the term gaslighting comes from. It didn't really help, but I did. So here are my favorite parts from the film Gaslight.
Oh my goodness! Oh, good gracious! Oh, it's so exciting.
Your book?
Yes, it's all about a girl who marries a man, and what do you think? He's got 6 wives buried in the cellar.
That seems a lot.
Yes, and I'm only at page 200, so I'm sure there's still more to come. Oh, it's a wonderful book.
There you are, Tilly. Go into your basket. There you are. Stop titivating yourself. Come on.
And when is your next evening out, Nancy?
Tonight, sir.
And where do you usually pass the evenings?
Well, I'm afraid I enjoy a good murder now and then. My brother always calls me Bloodthirsty Bessie.
How did you get in?
Well, we ghosts don't have to bother about doors.
What are those?
Yes. Your farm.
I had to see.
Where is your farm?
Here's my motherfucking farm! Oh, yeah! No! I'm a lead farmer, motherfucker!
Look!
It isn't your language until you dream in it. And women speak. Men. But men don't speak. Women. They don't dream in it.
I think what Meryl's trying to say is...
Jeff, thank you, Jeff. Jeff is here.
I think the sooner we all just
You got
accept
Amazon
the fact that we're all going to work for Jeff one day, the better off we'll be.